I learned a lesson earlier this year, maybe around January or February. I never had any money in my alcoholism. It all went to booze and drinking. Each time I would get paid, if I got paid on the 15th, by the 18th, I had maybe a few $100s to my name. No savings, no investments, nothing for a rainy day. If anything came up, I was screwed, you know? Or I'd have to just wait 2 weeks. If something came up on the 20th, or, a week after I got paid, there was no way that I was handling it in that moment. And I remember when I was in my sober living, we went to this place for programming. It was the same place my parents had dropped me off. I say programming like classes and things like that. And we'd meet with a case manager and a therapist and all that stuff, like rehab stuff, IOP, I think that's what they call it, or PHP or something like that. And I remember when I was meeting with my case manager, they had my file open on their computer and it said, it's kind of funny looking back on it, it said financially destitute. And I remember seeing that and being like, I have $500. I am not financially destitute. But I was. I was. So I get out of rehab and start looking for a job. And, I start getting paid from that job. And, my first paycheck, I was kind of worried, to be honest. I was kind of like, oh man, I'm going to get some money again. I used to just always use all my money on liquor, use all my money on alcohol. How am I going to handle myself? And just took it one day at a time. And slowly I started being able to save money. I opened up a Roth IRA and started investing money. I had a goal. I think my first paycheck was I got hired at this job on December 17th or something. Mid-December. My first paycheck was in 2026, the first days of 2026, or just a few days before. And so I started saving up money. I set myself, a goal. I'm not going to share that. It's just a personal goal of mine. To reach a certain amount of money saved up and invested by the end of the year. Along the way, I was able to buy a car. I was able to build up a new bicycle, fixed gear, beautiful bike. Man, I love that thing. And I was able to be comfortable in times of crisis, not have to worry too much about, the financial side of things, which is a real concern. Was able to be in a position where I could provide small things, but provide a little bit nonetheless, and that was a good feeling. One of the things that I learned, though, on this journey, and it reflects in my journey of recovery, is that some of the best things in life are often very boring and uneventful. And in my drinking, I was constantly in a state of chaos. My life seemed very exciting and very chaotic, but it was just that, chaotic. It wasn't really exciting, it was more so exhausting. There was always something happening that was of my own doing, some situation, some event, some thing that I did that I don't quite remember, and cascaded some situation I put myself in that led to chaos. And I thought it was exciting at the time. And it just turned out to be just this constant cycle of chaos and destruction. Now my life is, I guess you could call it boring. a little bit boring. It's not uneventful by any means, and it's not unfulfilling. It's very fulfilling. I lead a very happy life. It's just not as chaotic as things used to be. You know, when I was saving up money, I realized I can't just go out and buy everything I wanted. Just because I had some money doesn't mean that I could go and splurge on all the nicest things. I have a personal rule that if I want to buy something, I have a few rules around that. If I want to buy something, I need to be able to afford it twice. Right. In my checking account, I need to have twice the amount of money to buy that thing. And that's led me to, being more intentional in that way has just led me to be able to save up money, have money invested, be more comfortable. It hasn't made me any happier. It's just made me more comfortable in life. And as far as investing goes, it's not exciting. It's pretty boring, but it's gonna pay off in the long run down the line. As far as my recovery goes, yeah, my life is not that exciting, guys. But it is fulfilling. I do have the ability to wake up without any guilt, without any shame, without any anxiety. I have the ability to go to bed knowing that I had a fulfilling day, that I left everything on the table. I have the ability to go to bed without any fear. I have the ability to sleep soundly, to actually sleep at night. Man, that's a good feeling to have. To lay your head on the pillow and actually sleep at night. Actually rest, knowing that, you conquered today, and tomorrow may bring its own set of challenges, but you're going to be ready for them. That's a good feeling to have. It's a good feeling to wake up in the morning with a clear head and a clear mind, a clear spirit. I woke up this morning, I was kind of tired. I almost called out of work. And then I thought about it more. And I was like, if I call out of work, no one's going to receive my call or my message until they show up to the golf course. And I'm the first person to show up to the golf course by 30 minutes. It would screw over everyone. I can't do that. So I showed up. And I had a really good day at work today. A really good day. Was it exciting? No, not necessarily. Was my afternoon after work exciting? No, not necessarily. But it was fulfilling. And just one day at a time, I'm building up this new life for myself. I'm building up these things. That may not pay off immediately, but it's leading to something greater than myself. It's not exciting. It's not as chaotic as my drinking ever was. But it's just a lot more peaceful. It's a lot more peaceful. And that is a trade I'll make any day. Thanks for listening.